Jen Greenberg here. So today I did the Law of Design, law number 7, from John C. Maxwell's book, The 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth. So the Law of Design, to maximize growth, develop strategies. And he starts off with a Jim Rohn quote, which says, if you don't design your life plan, chances are you'll fall into someone else's plan. And guess what they may have planned for you? Not much. And I love that quote. It definitely kind of hit home for me. That's kind of like how I felt in the 9-to-5 world, working for somebody else and working towards their dream. You're kind of falling under their plan and not towards your own. And so, anyways, basically the Law of Design talks about setting up a life plan for you, something that's going to work towards reaching your potential and developing strategies that are going to facilitate you working towards your goals. So, let's see. I marked off some things that I wanted to remind myself about. So he talks about life lessons, and he shares some of the things that have helped him with designing strategies. He talks about keeping life simple, and that a lot of times it starts off simple. We all start off just being placed in the world, and we learn by doing, but then we complicate things. So he says, just remember, as you develop strategies for growth, to keep them personal, repeatable, and transferable. A beautifully conceived strategy does you no good if you can't use it. So he's just talking about how if you make some really complex formula or strategy that has like 20 steps, it's not going to work. Then he goes on to say, or talking about designing your life is more important than designing your career. So he's saying that a lot of people, they are so focused on like working on their career that their life totally passes them by, and all of their efforts and energy goes into their career, and then at the end of the day, they're not really left with anything meaningful. He actually brings up Reese Witherspoon, and I really love her. Anyways, one of her quotes was, many people worry so much about managing their careers, but rarely spend half that much energy managing their lives. That's so true, because I know so many people where they're always talking about work, and I've got to go to work, I can't take any vacation time because I've got to work on this project or whatever it is, and then like at the end of the day, what are they working for? People tell you that their family is their priority, their number one priority is their children, and then yet they're spending all their time and energy at work, and all their time with family and children is getting passed by. So he says, if you don't believe you can succeed in your life in the long term, you're not very likely to give it the planning attention it deserves. Planning your life is about finding yourself, knowing who you are, and then customizing a design for your growth. Once you draw the blueprint for your life, you can then apply it to your career. So, all right. So then he talks about life is not a dress rehearsal. You don't get a dress rehearsal for life. You just kind of go with it. You just roll with the cards that you're dealt and play the best hand you can. So he says, we don't get a rehearsal for life. We have to do the best we can in the moment. But we can learn from others who have gone before us, people like executives and other professionals that may be in your field. So, okay, this one was totally like had my name all over it. In planning your life, multiply everything by 2. So he talks about how he's a very optimistic person and has really high expectations, and sometimes he doesn't account for how much time or money something might cost. So he was saying, If you think that a task is going to take 1 week, then multiply it by 2, so give yourself 2 weeks. If you think something is going to be $500, multiply it by 2 and account for $1,000 that you need for whatever purpose. And that really has my name on it because I'm notorious for like having no concept of time and saying that something is only going to take me an hour, and then 3 hours later I'm still working on it. And so this is definitely going to be something I'm going to implement so that hopefully I can start planning better and allotting more time to the tasks that I need to do and schedule accordingly. Alright, so then the rest of the chapter talks about actually developing strategies and systems to put in place to help you be more efficient with your time. Let's see. Strategies and systems are a way of life for me. Systems permit ordinary people to achieve extraordinary results predictably. However, without a system, even extraordinary people find it difficult to predictably achieve even ordinary results. So, he's basically saying it's the systems that are in place that get the results, not necessarily like a super brilliant person. You just need to be a normal person with good systems in place that you're actually following consistently to get the results. That's another thing I need to work on in my life. Alright. Let's see. Okay, what systems include? Effective systems take the big picture into account. So, your systems need to look at the big picture, the overall picture, not just the task at hand. It's not enough to be busy. If you're busy planning, busy reading books, and busy going to conferences, but they aren't targeted on the areas essential to your success, you're not helping yourself. As the saying goes, unhappiness is not knowing what we want and killing ourselves to get it. So I know I am guilty of it sometimes, and then a lot of people I work with do this too, where they're always busy, 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 doing this and that, reading this, going to webinars, whatever. But then at the end of the day, they're not implementing anything they're learning because it's not really anything significant to what their big picture goal is. So it's like they're busy-minded, but it's not producing a result. Does that ever happen to you? I think that happens to me too. It's like I see other people that may be learning a particular topic, or they're reading a book by an author who may be like the new latest and greatest motivational person, and then you think that you need to get reading. Sorry, that was my dog. You feel like you need to get reading that author because everyone else is doing it, but really it has nothing to do with what your goals may be. Okay. Oh yeah, I really liked this quote. When people know their work is being measured, their productivity increases. So in this section, he was talking about how effective systems are something that are measurable. So if you know that your progress is going to be tracked, then you're more likely to be more efficient and more effective in what you're doing because you're going to want your results to show. Okay. That's a great question. Okay, both plan and act. Oh, this is important. Write this one down. Both plan and action must go together. The plan creates the track. The action provides the traction. So anytime you have a goal, but you think you won't be able to reach it, don't adjust the goal. Adjust the action steps. This is awesome. Like, I cannot wait to tell some of my challenge group participants about this. Because sometimes people are like, oh, I want to lose 50 pounds, and I just haven't gotten there yet. So what I always tell them to do is don't change your goal. Don't say, never mind, I don't want to lose 50 pounds, I only want to lose 10. What you need to do is change what you're doing. So I ask them, what are you doing that's working? What are you doing that's not working? And then from there, we adjust the steps. So, what else? Okay, effective systems promote consistency. So there's that word again, consistency. So he says, in other words, if you want to succeed in the long run, you must learn to be consistent day in and day out, week in and week out, year in and year out. So basically, when you're creating these systems and strategies, they cannot be some kind of crazy maze of steps. They need to be something that you can do every day and be consistent about it. So that's important. Lastly, he gives this, it's kind of a long story about this golfer guy. Actually, he's a golf pro, so he taught people. And my big takeaway from the whole golf story was that this guy documented his training lessons for these golf people that he helped. And he never liked for anybody to be eavesdropping in on his lessons because he didn't want anyone else to apply what he was teaching to that particular student into their golf game. Because just because what he's teaching to that person does not mean that that particular skill or whatever is going to work in the other person's golf game. So the principle is, just because somebody else is doing something or somebody else is working on something, or here it is, don't try to simply adopt someone else's practices as your own. Customize them to yourself. So you may see somebody else that's doing something that's working for them, and you think that you can totally apply it exactly as they're doing it and get the same result. It's not always going to be the case. You have to customize it and design it to you. So, applying the law of design into your life. This is the application section where he actually tells you how to put it into action into your life. And it was definitely eye-opening and great conversations that my husband and I had as to where our strategic planning time currently is versus where it needs to be. So we're definitely going to be spending some time working on putting some strategies in place so that we can reach our big picture goals. So thank you so much for watching this video. I would love to hear what your thoughts are, and if you are currently using any systems and strategies in your field and how they're working for you, comment below on this video. Subscribe to me on YouTube, and also please be sure to follow me on Instagram at instagram.com/JenGreenberg and Facebook at facebook.com/bbcoachjen. Also be sure to check me out tomorrow. We are going to talk about the law of pain. Law number 8, good management of bad experiences leads to great growth. So that's it. Good night.